Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you our favorite snack, savory snack that we make at a whim if we feel like movie night or just want to chill at home and we want to eat something quickly. It's basically because if you've got all the ingredients at home most of the time, and you can also swap out some of the ingredients. This is my take of a gluten-free corn fritter. So it's healthy as well, and for everybody that's struggling with gluten intolerances, this has been tested and tried and it works quite well. So we're going to start with a cup of flour. I like to combine spelt flour and some rice flour, so I'll do half-half. We'll just quickly sift it, and then just at the end we'll add a little bit of baking powder, about half a teaspoon to 3/4. Just adding that in a bit. Alright. Then I like to add in a splash of milk. This is probably about 5 tablespoons of milk. There's not a set recipe. This is almost going on feeling and just seeing what the consistency is like. And then 1 egg. And we'll just whisk this all together quite well. Yeah, this is a nicer consistency. As you can see, it's a little bit more runny and just giving things to stick together. Okay, so this is kind of your batter part of it. And then we're just going to add some ingredients into it, of which your sweet corn is the first one. This is just a tin of sweet corn that I've drained and patted dry a little bit. So I'm adding that in there. Oh, I see there's a little bit of fluid. And then I'd like some spring onions for a crunchiness into it. And we'll just cut these ones up quite finely because they add a little bit of crunch and a very nice flavor to the whole mixture. And then I'd like to add a chilli to it. I just like to roll it first to get rid of some of the seeds, so it's not too hot. I'm just dicing up the chilli quite finely as well. Okay, so for a little bit of color, I like to add a paprika pepper. Because it's mild, but it gives crunch and just a bit of color into an otherwise quite yellowy batter. To the side. And lastly, I just like to add in some fresh herbs and parsley and some coriander. So I'll just chop this up quite nicely and finely, and then just add the fresh herbs into the mixture as well. And then we'll just, with a spatula, we'll fold it all together so that it's nicely combined, so that there's a good mixture between the ingredients and the batter. And then we'll just go to the oven and fry it in a very hot pan, and then serve it up with a dipping sauce. Okay, so I forgot to add some salt and pepper, so I'm just quickly doing that, just to season it nicely and give it some extra flavor and taste. A hot skillet, I'm using my cast iron skillet. I'm just adding some oil, and I'm just going to even out the batter in little portions to make the fritter. I just use the back of a spoon to flatten them out a little bit, and then you just wait. until they're ready on the one side, and then you flip them over. There you go, there's a perfect little fritter. And then you'll just continue until you obviously used all the batter, and then you can just make a little dipping sauce that you can add onto, or that you can dip the little fritters into. Okay, so while the fritters is going in the background, I'm just quickly going to whip together a little dipping sauce. It's kind of a tzatziki inspired dipping sauce with a few differences. So I'm just going to start by grating up a cucumber, or half a cucumber. I'm then going to transfer this over to a bowl and just add some salt into it to draw the moisture out, as there's a lot of moisture in a cucumber, and then just leave it for a while and then drain it to ensure that the sauce or dipping sauce is not too wet. So I just add a generous amount of salt in there, and then I'm just going to leave it for a little bit. Okay, so I've added the cucumber, of which I'm going to just add a cup of yogurt. You can use any yogurt. It can be plant-based, it can be full cream. Then I'm going to just add a little bit of lemon juice to it. I don't know, I try to catch the seeds with my hands, but they always go everywhere, so I just like to have a little sieve. And I think that's about enough for this specific recipe. Then I'm going to add a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. And then what makes this different is that I'm going to add a little bit of Dukkah spice to it. This is a homemade one. It's just an Egyptian nutty, spicy flavoring that we all adore in our house. I'm going to do a good spoonful of that, maybe a little bit more. And then I'm going to do a very small pinch of ghost chili powder to not make it too spicy for my youngest. And then just mix this all up. Okay, so I'm just adding this into a pretty little bowl that can go in the middle of a platter. And then I'm just going to top it with a little bit of fresh Italian parsley. And that's basically your dipping sauce for your fritters.